guys have some light. Hold on just a sec, guys. By the way, guys, if you haven't seen me before, I'm Stacy. I'm the owner and artist of New Creations by Stacy. I know that backdrop is super boring. Here we go. Perfect. All right. I'm the owner and artist of New Creations by Stacy. Hold on here so I can join the chat and see all the comments. Guys, when you're popping on, just say, hey, where you're watching from, what you're up to today. Happy Monday. And I do see some people on. I just don't know who they are yet. Hey, Denise, good to see you. All right. So I've got the chat up. Oh, let me turn the volume down. All right. Oops, wrong way. So, guys, as usual, I'm totally not together. Story of my life, but that's all right. We'll get there. So tonight, guys, while we're waiting for the notifications to go out, some people to pop on, I'm going to go ahead. You know what? I don't have the chat up. I think that was Elena. Oh, there we go. I see it now. Hey, Michelle. Hey, Elena. Ooh, you make the prettiest Christmas stuff, Michelle. I love your frames and like all the glittery stuff that you put on. I don't know. I've seen several. I think they were decoupage, maybe even some transfers, but Michelle does some beautiful home decor stuff, furniture too, but I love her. What do you use for that sparkly stuff you put on there? It's so pretty. All right, anyway, sorry guys. I totally went on to something else. All right, guys, so we're going to be doing some decoupaging tonight. We're going to be using the My Garden Whimsey decoupage paper by Redesign with Prima. So this paper, it comes, I think this is like 19.5 by 30. And then it also has like a smaller twin in the A3 size here. And this is My Garden Whimsy, guys. So something's going on with my website. I couldn't get it on there. I do have one of these available if you want them. And by the way, guys, I do have 2 store locations here in Alabama. The Rustic Willow in Ardmore, and then also University Pickers. So I carry all the products. And then I also have them on my website, except for not these tonight. I tried to put them on before I went live. We're going to be doing some raised stenciling, and then we're also going to be adding some texture with stamps here, which I have not, well, actually, I have done it before. I tested it out on the front, but just a small area. So this is kind of, we're going to see how it turns out. But, so we're going to have some fun. We're going to do several different things. Sticklers and rhinestones. Really, I wouldn't have guessed by the reel. I'm going to have to go back and look closer now. I want to see. I love those, though. They're so pretty, and they always sell so quick for you. All right, so I told you guys what we're going to do. I actually want to start off by showing you stuff. I've done several lives with the decoupage, but this was a really good example. I just couldn't pass it up. So guys, when you're doing decoupage, I don't care if you're using, I should have got one out. I don't care if you're using light colored paper, black paper, purple paper. Doesn't matter what it is. You want something with a light background behind it, so that the colors are true to the colors on your paper. Unless you actually, and there's only one scenario in which I've done this, I actually wanted to change the way the colors looked on the paper. And so I did a midnight sky, which is like a soft black behind it, so that I could tone down like the super bright purple colors and stuff like that. And it came out so they would look more gray. But so that's that. I wanted to start with saying that, but I have a great example. You guys, I'm always telling you when you're prepping stuff that felt tip marker bleeds, and I don't have a lot of great examples of that. I'm going to end up popping you guys down, guys. Most of the time you're going to be looking down here because we're going to be working in this spot here. But guys, I wanted to show you something. When I put paint behind my decoupage paper, I always like to use silk paint. which is an all-in-one mineral paint. And the reason I like to use the silk paint is because it has a stain blocking primer. So when I'm doing decoupage, I can actually cut out a step. I don't have to put the stain blocking primer in. I can generally just use 2 coats of this and everything is all well and good. But I want to show you guys something here. Sorry, I opened the paint over this and I got little paint specks in here I want to get out. All right, so that's what I would normally do, and that's fine. I can see that clearly this drawer is, I'm not even going to do the paint. I mean, it's just, I feel like going to waste your time. I am going to show you the other part though. So see how clean this drawer is? It looks all really nice and good. This would be fine. I could put 2 coats of the elderflower on here, which is what I was showing you guys, or whatever, in silk paint, and everything would be good. I want you to look at this. I don't know if it was a marker or what, but it does look like it. See, I cleaned it, and when I cleaned it, it kind of smeared, but it's like red and pink here. I want to show you guys something. If I put 2 coats of that silk on there, it's not going to cover this, and it will bleed right through my paper if I decoupage right away. So what we're actually going to do is I'm going to have to use Bonding Boss in here, and I'll probably use 2 coats of Bonding Boss and then just 1 coat of paint. But, or I could do, you know, the Bonding Boss is a little bit more potent in the stain blocking. And usually it doesn't matter. It's all fine, well and good. But in this case, this is going to be a super serious bleeder. So we're going to use some Bonding Boss on it. And this is an all-in-one primer. They don't call it an all-in-one primer. That's just my name for it. But Bonding Boss will bond to slick surfaces, so it's going to take care of, you know, if you're painting glass, if you're painting, what else am I thinking? If you're painting glass, if you're painting plastic, a super slick metal. I use it on hardware a lot. I'm just going to start putting this on, guys. I use it on hardware a lot. Anything that's a smooth surface, laminate, all that good stuff. But it is also a stain blocker, and then it blocks odors. It's taken quite a bit of Bonding Boss, and I'm going to put it on thick because I know that this red felt stuff is a super heavy bleeder. Oh, and it's not doing what I wanted it to do, but it might here shortly. It might. Hopefully it will. I wanted to show you guys what was going to happen. And watch, it's not going to do it. It should, though. I'll tell you what it should do in a sec if it doesn't. And if it doesn't do it, then I'm going to be fine to go with just 1 coat of elderflower. But normally, you can see the bleed through. I only want to get these felt things on the side with this. Anywhere that marker hit the wood, I want to block that. You can see there's a lot of repairs. This vanity was in like horrible shape. Everything had to be sanded down. There's some repairs with some dowels in here. Lots and lots of stuff. So with the Bonding Boss, to effectively block the bleed through, you want to put it on 1 coat, leave it for about 1 to 2 hours, and then you can put the 2nd coat on. And then you let it sit overnight. But guys, it is actually not doing what it should be doing. Normally, you'll see, because that bleed through is so heavy, it'll bleed right through the Bonding Boss. If we look at this again in a minute and there's no bleed through, I will just do 1 coat of the elderflower, and then I'll be good to go to start my decoupage. All right, with that being said, we're going to get to the fun part. Let's see. Hey, Patty, good to see you. Thanks for joining. All right, guys, and I always forget to say it just because I'm not used to this, but if you don't already subscribe to my YouTube channel, please do. It is free, and it definitely helps support my small business here. All right, guys, so I am going to, this is the flip up top on the Vanity, and we are going to decoupage the inside of this. So this is this entire Vanity is a pretty heavy bleeder. So I did do 2 coats of bonding boss in here. And then just for some added protection, I did 1 coat of elderflower. So I didn't want those grays to show through. That's why I put that elderflower on here, because I want it to be a little bit more creamy. With that being said, and I did this part ahead of time because I didn't want to waste a lot of time on this. And it did take me, I don't know, a good 10 minutes probably to do this. But I made this is a really awkward spot. So I have about 1.5 inches that comes out under here. You can see my fingers. Goes straight through. The mirror fits on right here. And so this is really hard to get to because I've got the top. And then we have this curved area coming up here. My decoupage paper isn't quite long enough, but that's okay because I'll paint that in, and I don't need this to be perfect. But I just took some copy paper and I laid it in here 1 piece at a time. Here, actually, I'll just show you what I did. Hold on, I've got an extra piece over here. All I did was put like 1 piece in first. I just laid it out. Created a line with my fingers, cut that off, laid it back in, taped the second piece on, did the same thing, and so on. And of course it took me 3 pieces, but I got a little pattern. This wasn't the right size, otherwise I could have traced this. And just if you're in a hard to work space, just want to give you some ideas about So actually, Brenda, I didn't do that particular repair. I only do simple repairs. So there's a guy that does those for me. I don't know why he used dowels. This thing was in horrible shape, though. It was literally falling apart. I do simple repairs, Brenda, but I do not rebuild furniture. There are people who do that, though. And this is kind of a little bit of a rebuild. I did a little bit extra work on it, but that was it. All right, so I've got this in here. So once I have this in here, I just set it over. I just set it over my decoupage paper, and I suspect he used dowels because it was about this deep. What he filled was about this deep. And I know sometimes people will use like shams, or they'll make their own pressed wood and fill it in like that. But I think it was probably just too deep for the Bondo, and he's really good at what he does. So, all right, so I set this out, and then I just traced the line around here. So now we're gonna cut that off, and then we're gonna decoupage this spot here. As soon as I find my scissors. There they go. You guys know I lose everything. Everything. All right, so can you see here? Again, this doesn't have to be perfect. I will have to paint over some of this. I did use a purple Sharpie, and that's mainly so I can see where I'm cutting. But of course, I do want to kind of cut right before that Sharpie so that I don't have purple on here. And again, I'm not looking for this to be perfect because I'll paint in these edges. You guys, I am slow at cutting though. I'm terrible at following patterns. So, plus my fingers over here. Hopefully, guys, the next time you see me, well, I'll be live Wednesday night at 6 on my Facebook page as well. We're going to be working on our jewelry box. But, hold on just a sec here. Hopefully, I will have these things off my finger every day. They're looking better and better. All right, perfect. So just this last little bit here, we're gonna snip off. There we go. And I'm gonna be using the rest of this on the drawers. I have just enough between all these pieces to do the drawers. And so we're gonna slide this in. I just wanna kind of check the placement on it before we start decoupaging, but decoupaging is super quick, guys. There we go. See, I have a feeling I'm gonna end up getting rid of some of these yellows in this paper though, because I'm gonna be painting it more these peach colors, but ooh, that's gonna be so pretty. I am a little off on the line. Let's move this back. Just wanna make sure that I'm close, kind of close enough. Perfect. Yep. And I've got a little overlap in back here. I'll just sand that off. I'm fine with that. All right. So we're gonna do it in a little bit, just in two different sections, only because I have this odd spot under here. And I think I'm gonna go forward to backward though, because I want my placement up here to be the best. Hey, Teresa, good to see you live. How are you? All right, guys, so I'm using some Redesign with Prima matte decoupage gel, and I don't know why, but I grabbed out a brand new one, but that's okay. I'm just gonna open it. Hold on here. Let me move this back so I don't get decoupage gel everywhere, because that is definitely something I would do. There we go. I thought tonight, guys, I was like, okay, I can wear not paint clothes since we're not painting. But, yeah, I'm still probably going to get something all over me. I will tell you as well, next week we'll be painting the first and the second layer on this. I'll have it set up to where half has the first layer on. And so we'll do both layers of the paint style. All right, so guys, I have a brush here and I take off the handle. It just, this is a small round, but it allows me to get in tighter spaces like this. So I've got to use this. I can't use a regular brush and get back here with the decoupage gel. So I really need to stir this up. That I did not grab something out with to do. So let's use the end of a paintbrush. That always works. So this is Redesign with Prima Decoupage Gel. It comes in shine and matte. I'm gonna use the matte. Guys, I pretty much always use the matte because even if I want a satin sheen or something like that, I do it with my protectant to get the sheen so that the whole entire piece matches. So I typically just use matte, but it does come in the shine as well. We're gonna set this back here. I'm gonna go ahead and get my saran wrap ready so that we can smooth this out. And this is probably my favorite thing to smooth out my decoupage paper with, just because it is great for getting out the wrinkles. It doesn't stick or anything else. So I just got a piece here. I'm gonna loosely wad it up into a ball. And this decoupage paper is, or decoupage gel, excuse me, it's water-based, but it is waterproof. So they do advertise it as waterproof, not water-resistant, which is the most common thing. And right now, I'm just going to kind of go back to this middle section here. You want to put this on liberally with your decoupage gel. And I like this, guys, because it's nice and thick. This decoupage gel is, so it's not a situation where I have to worry about my paper kind of still sliding around or not attaching right away, which is, I'm decoupage challenged is what I call it, because I cannot decoupage with clear coat to save my life. It always ends up wrinkled. Sometimes I do iron out these wrinkles, sometimes I don't. But for the most part, I can get them out with the Saran wrap. Okay, I've got this off just a tad bit. This is an odd shape, so it's a little bit, it's a little bit different than if I was just doing a fully flat surface. So I want to stretch this out as much as I can. I'm going to push that down in here. Then I'm going to, sorry, I know my head's in there. I've got to pull it back just a tad bit because right here I'm going to have a wrinkle if I do not get this lined out better. So let's start just this process right here, working it back, pushing all those wrinkles out. I'm using quite a bit of pressure because, like I said, this is odd placement, and I'm going to have a few wrinkles if I do not get that out. So here's that. There we go. And you guys, when you're laying on a nice flat surface like a tabletop, super easy not to have wrinkles. It's a little bit more difficult if you're going all one piece, like on the front of a dresser, going over different grooves and different things like that, or doing something like this where you're going inside the drawer. So I'm going to pull this back just a little bit because I've got it laid out. I've got the wrinkles out there, and then we're just going to come in. I'm going to get this back as far as I can going through the front. This is just a really awkward spot, which is why I wanted to do it live. And we were going to decoupage one of the drawers, but then I skipped painting it. So, all right, so I'm just getting this gel back here as fast as I can, making sure that it's all covered. I want it to be stuck down really well. There we go. And again, very liberal. Very, very liberal on that. We're going to start in this center spot because that's really where my potential for wrinkles is coming in. Let's get the rest of this down. Hopefully my head is not too much in the way. Perfect. It's not. And I don't want to just go to the side, so I'm getting a little wrinkle over here. I'm going to kind of pull this up a bit. There we go. Get that out. Yeah, I'm going to have a wrinkle, but it's because I've got this, such an awkward spot. Let me push that back so it'll lay. Yeah, I'm going to end up with a wrinkle, but I'm fine with it. There are ways to cover them up. I'm going to have one right here, and I actually feel like that's pretty good given the... Oh, that's not a wrinkle. That was part of the design, but I was trying to get it out just in case. All right, I'm going to push that through. By the way, once your saran wrap starts getting sticky, all you want to do is just, if it's pulling too much, just come in and just grab another piece and it'll go nice and smooth right over it. I just want to make sure all this is pushed down really, really well. I'm kind of having to go through. I'm trying to smooth out. Like I said, I've got this one wrinkle. Not concerned about it because I am going to be aging this out. So when you're aging, you can actually work those in really well, completely cover them up. In fact, I will make sure that we do that on a live so that you can kind of see how that'll just blend in. Guys, I'm just pushing this through because I can't actually see it. And I want to make sure that it is nice and perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. You know what? I think I'm going to decoupage this down because the mirror sits back here. I think I'm just going to go through just really quick. Sorry, guys. I'm going to go through really quick and I'm going to decoupage this. Instead of sanding it off and wasting my time, there's no point. We're just going to decoupage it down. My saran wrap is a little bit dry here. Not sure if you guys can see, but all I'm doing is using my finger to push this down, run this decoupage gel over the top, because when you're going around an edge like this, it is harder to get it to stick and stay flat. It wants to pop back up. So I just want to make sure. I don't have to do it all the way across. It was just uneven on this one side. And it's probably more about how I laid it out than anything else. But this will save me time with sanding. Guys, and when you put this much work into a piece, honestly, anything that will save you time is beneficial. Like, it might not have seemed like a big deal about that drawer, but that's one less coat that I have to do. That's less product. Less time. And guys, it takes time to wash out your brush and everything else. So anything I can do to save time. All right. Well, except for make it poor quality. I don't want to do that. But so once you've got the decoupage going, you're just going to go back over with the decoupage gel. It's going to seal that all down there. I definitely have a wrinkle, but again, sometimes that happens. It is not the end of the world. Once I put this gel over it, I might hit it again with the saran wrap just to see if I can minimize it anymore. But I will come in and show you because, like I said, we're going to do something. We're going to resolve that, work it in so it doesn't even look like an error. And guys, that's the ticket with a lot of this stuff too, because we're human. We all make mistakes or don't get it perfect. It's knowing how to cover it and fix it that really is important. All right, guys, I just got to get under here on this back section. I'm going to close that up right quick. And I'm going to come in here. And like I said, with it being distressed, that kind of lends itself anyway if I did get a wrinkle, so it's okay. All right, so we're just gonna, open this back up. There we go. All right, now really quick, this isn't dry yet. I've got a little bit of a work time. I don't want streaks, so I'm just gonna feather over this super light, super light. And make sure it's all kind of fanned out there. All right, give me just a sec here. I'm going to grab, I want to see if I can smooth this wrinkle out. Now, I will tell you one trick, which I can't do in this case anyway because it's too small of an area for my iron. But one trick is if you do get a wrinkle, I'm going to be able to fix it as best I can here. But for example, if this was on a flat surface or if it was open or what, well, I guess it is flat, but if it was open and accessible, I would give it about an hour or so for this to kind of get dry, but not to fully harden this decoupage gel. You can put some parchment paper down over it and then just go over it with an iron. And if you go over it with the iron, it will flatten that wrinkle out so it lays down. But this is fine, guys. This is perfectly fine what I've got going on here. So I'm going to tilt you guys down here right quick so that you can kind of see how it turned out. With my finger, I'm having a hard time getting my phone in and out. Do you guys see the wrinkle is right here? Can you see it? It runs right there. It's not a huge deal. Like I said, I'm not even sure you can actually see it. I kind of took a look at my iPad and I didn't notice where, I didn't see where it was on there. Oh, absolutely, Patty. 100%. And, So let me tell you guys, let me look at these. Oh, good, Teresa. I'm so glad. She's been working in the garage. Oh, Teresa does some beautiful work as well. Everybody on here does. Patty does. Like, you guys, everybody is so creative. And I love to see your guys' work. All right, Patty. So I definitely prefer the decoupage gel. So sometimes when you're on different places, you have to use different mediums. And so the thing I didn't like about Gator Hide, it's nice and thick and sticky, but the work time is so short. It's harder to get. It's a little bit difficult sometimes if you're working over a more like in and out texture, like drawers would be, stuff like that. This decoupage gel, it's thick like that, so you don't have to spray your decoupage paper with water to make it kind of stick and stay in place. The work time is extended out. It's waterproof. I mean, that's fantastic, especially if you're doing the top of a table. And it's great for drawers too, because people put all kinds of stuff in drawers, particularly with the Vanity, I feel like. But hands down, and by the way, let me tell you something else. I have also tried like decoupage gels from several different companies, and a lot of times it's really just the clear coats that have been repackaged. But this thick gel by Prima is amazing. I do sell it, guys, but I mean, even if you don't buy it from me, I still 100% recommend it. It is by far the best. And I'm not going to use anything that I absolutely dislike. But the decoupage gel is phenomenal. It's the best from any company that I've tried. But you may have seen me decoupage with some different things. This is the way that I can get the most wrinkle-free decoupage. And again, I'm decoupage challenged. I can't decoupage. I don't know how you guys decoupage with satin, Patty. I have so much respect for that because, like, I just can't. I can, but it's just so hard for me. And I end up with wrinkles. I love it too, especially for their fiber papers. Yeah, so the fiber papers, I used to have problems with like the satin clear coat, and even in some cases the Gator Hide. I used to have problems with it, like sticking everywhere. And I don't get that with the decoupage gel. It's just on there. I just love it. I love it. And the people that I've gotten to try it, Patty, we need to talk. You have to message me. I would love to send you some just to try it. It is, I'm like, it's life-changing. It's probably not that serious, but I love it. All right, anyway, guys, moving on. All right, we're going to do some raised stencil, and then we're going to create some texture with stamps. And I want to let you know, when we create this texture with stamps, it is not that I expect this to be a perfect texture, but it does give some interesting, I expect to see some detail in some areas, but for the most part, it's just going to give us like some interesting texture. But, and we're going to kind of mix this raised stencil and the stamps together. So, and for right now, I think I'm going to start off with just scripts, but I will open up one of these flowers in the stamps as well if I decide to. I had this one Paris stamp. It was a little piece and I lost it. Uh-oh. Hold on. Oh, here it is. Okay. Actually, I may just go, I don't know. Not sure how I'm going to do it yet. All right. So, first of all, before I start this particular raised stencil, I want to tell you guys I am not trying to make this perfect. That's not even on my radar because you're going to see I'm going to smear it all together in different ways so that the stencil partially shows. And then also, not only does the stencil partially show, I've got other areas with other texture going on. We'll just get started because I feel like I'm not explaining it well. All right, here, guys. So we're going to be using Dixie Mud. And this comes in white, black, and brown. I am picking brown because, like I said, we're going to age this out a bit. I'm going to be doing some, I may end up mixing part of my own color, but we're going to be using like apricot and corals, like flamingo and stuff like that. Maybe a little, might throw in a little peony in there. I don't know. We'll just see what happens once I start painting. And this is the thingamajig tool, guys. I don't carry this, but I have some. Typically speaking, my favorite thing to use is this tool right here, but we're doing a small area, so that's why I'm just picking up this one. Also, when I do a raised stencil, I typically don't go back to back to back. I let each section dry, I line it up, and then come back through. In this case, we're gonna go back to back to back because I'm not looking for a super clear, defined raised stencil as I normally would be. Oh, that's so sweet, Michelle. I pray for that. I do pray for it, but yeah, I just, we never know how it's going to turn out, to be honest. All right, so I'm going to center, by the way, this is the Regal, I don't even know how to say it, Striae, something like that. One of those vowels has to be silent, but this is redesigned with Prima. You guys, this is a true 3D stencil as well. A lot of the stencils that we use are like a 7.5 millimeter Mylar stencil. This is thicker, so it gives you more of a raised stencil. I have several of these in larger sizes, and I really like them because when they're so thick like this, they're heavier, they're not quite as flimsy. They do make it easier for you to get, not what I'm going for here, but they do make it easier for you to get a more defined stencil. So I'm just gonna put this up here, and I'm just smearing in. I should have taped this down, guys, but again, if I was wanting this to look perfect, I would tape it down. In this case, I don't really need to. I probably should have stirred up my Dixie Mud again. I was using it earlier, and I didn't stir it again, but that's okay. So normally also I will clean out my stencil. You don't want to put the Dixie Mud or any other medium that you use down the drain. But normally I spray them off outside. There we go. So see how thick this is? I'll bring you in closer. You may be able to tell the difference. I'm just gonna get this off here around the edges, because the way this piece of furniture is, this sits inside, so I don't want to have that around the edges. You see how it goes through the stencil though, like over here? So that's why I normally wait for it to dry before I keep going. One thing about this stencil too, it is repeating, so you can repeat it. In this case though, I am not. And see how, whoops, I just smeared that. It does not matter, guys. You'll see in a minute why it doesn't matter. I'm just going to start. I'm not going to repeat it again. I'm not going for some smooth, perfect stencil. I just want some patterns in here. I wanted that one in the middle so you could actually see one that was all together, but... And you don't have to make a 3D stencil. You can use these stencils for regular stenciling as well. And they're not even more expensive. They're just $12.99, I think, for these smaller ones. So see how it gets messier and messier as you go? That's okay. And again, I would not go back to back. Actually, I don't even want to put that one right there. And it doesn't matter for what I'm doing. I think I want the bottom section over here. I just smashed down part of my stencil. It does not matter, guys. And you will definitely see why in a short time here. Doesn't matter if I get it all on, if it's smooth, if it's not smooth. I mean, normally that would be a situation. That's why I want to tell you, this is not how, it depends on the look you're going for, like how you do your stencil. Like I said, I would let a section dry. I would clean my stencil. I would go back through. But I don't need to do that. See how terrible that looks? And that's okay. Because I don't want to get this on my paper. And by the way, even after this dries, guys, you can clean it off until you seal and protect it. It is water soluble. I'm a little bit messy. I use my hands a lot. You could use the baby wipe to do this. And we're gonna come back in here. Once I get my hand cleaned off, actually, you know what? Let's just smear it back up here. And you're probably thinking, why are you doing that? Because we're gonna try something cool. And that's why I wanted to do it on this lip first, because I want to do it on the sides of this piece. And it's, I just got it on my decoupage paper. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is I'm just going to smear some parts together. I don't need it thick. This is kind of more like a, this is kind of more, oh, I think I want to use this one. Let's leave quite a bit of this one intact. Let's smooth out that. Let's come over here. Let's go like this. Let's do a little bit right through there. All right, so once I do that, I want to come in, and like I said, this may or may not be cute either way. But I'm going to take some of these script stamps, and I'm going to kind of try to create a reverse texture. Let me tell you why I'm doing this, guys. I have been obsessed a little bit with texture ever since I did the rainy day piece. And I love how all that different texture came out. And so I kind of want to try, I thought about ways I could add texture. I never use my stamps. I have a ton of them. And I wanted to think about ways that I could use these stamps and texture. So that's kind of where I'm at with this. And I'm going to bring you close up. It's kind of like I suspected. Oh, actually, that's a little more defined than I thought it would be. I know you guys are far away, so you're not seeing it. Let's put a flower in here, too. Oh, this is so fun. And really, actually, Donna, are you on? Hey, Kate, I'm glad you made it. Yeah, Donna, so, like, another thing, Donna did a, like a challenge, and part of it was about texture. Let's put this flower right in here. Part of it was about texture, and that also got me to thinking about this little idea right here. So the flowers, I can't say they came out great. Let's try one over here again where it's a little bit thicker. Just want to kind of, oh, I see why. So you know what? Next time, if I was doing a larger area on the side, I will probably bring out my stamp block so that I can get these. And by the way, this isn't ruining my stamps because like I told you, even if it dries, it washes off with water. So tomorrow, I will go outside. Yeah, we'll see what it looks like when I paint those. Like I can't see really the definition in the flowers. But they did create an outline. So again, I'm going to bring you guys in and show you. Oh, I hope I did make these words right side up. So now I'm just going through. You guys, this looks like a muddy mess right now, but I promise you when we paint it, it is going to look so much better. It will make sense, I swear. So what I'm doing is I'm just going through here and getting some of this script. Let me find my little tiny, and of course I keep wanting to throw this on my decoupage paper. Let's put this Paris right in here. So if I was using a stamp block, it would press down evenly and it wouldn't be shifting. This one doesn't do it. It's this tiny script that does it the best. So it must be, I'm gonna use this one. Maybe if I just do it light, let me just kind of play. Yeah, that worked better. Let's see something. Let's see how it does if I do this Paris light. Let's see. No, just creates a cool texture. I'm gonna get some of this off, make some other little textures here. All right, so this needs to dry now, and it will probably take about, you know what, this is too perfect. That's too perfect. I feel like we need to mess this up. What do you guys think? Like, that's too perfect right there, don't you think? I don't want to mess the whole thing up, but let's just kind of mess up this right here. And then let's come in with some of the bigger letters. Didn't quite come out there, but. So this is obviously, when I'm doing this isn't, you don't have a lot of control, but actually I think I learned the thinner it is, really the better it is. Let me bring you guys in so you can see it. And like I said, I promise you, once it's painted, it's gonna look totally different. It's still in the crazy phase. All right. So I'm gonna bring you guys in and show you. So you can see this is gonna dry to a lighter brown. Let me bring you across. So see, you can see some of the script right here. I don't know if you guys can see it on here, but that'll definitely show up once this dries. We paint it. If I put a glaze or anything or a wax in here, it is gonna show. And over here, this was actually my most perfect script right here. Can you guys see it? Trying to get you as close as possible. Yes, you can. All right, perfect. So we're just gonna let this dry. Once it dries, I have some peaks. I may want it a little bit smoother. So I'll probably take like a 400 grit, sorry, I'm having trouble making this stand back up. Probably take a 400 grit sandpaper, just knock off the peaks, and then this is gonna look fabulous, I think. We're gonna do it, well, I'm gonna do it on the side as well. So it'll be done next week. And then we'll put the first coat and the second part of the second coat on. So I'll have one side that's ready and one side that's not. And that way you can see the next steps. And then the only thing we'll be doing. So yeah, guys. So clearly I washed that out pretty well. There is a slight bleed. This did not bleed. One time I had to put 4 coats of stuff on. But this stain blocking primer, I told you guys it was an all-in-one primer. The stain blocking part and the odor blocking part really functions a lot like shellac, if you're familiar with that. There is a little bit of a bleed still over here. It's not much, but I'm going to be able to cover that with 1 coat of silk paint. So that's all I'll do. It might have covered with 2 coats of silk paint, but I just didn't want to take that risk, especially with decoupage. I'm going to go through the comments right quick because on here, guys, oh, the good news is, too, the Dixie mud, it washes out of your clothes. Just in case you need to know that, because I'm a hot mess. I'm going to go through the comments right quick because they do delete on here after the live is over. And then you guys, but if you watch it on replay, please hashtag replay because then it remains. Any comments made after the live remain, but these comments during the live chat just don't. And you guys, I'm still kind of new to YouTube, so still figuring it all out. All right, guys, so I think the only 2 questions were about the decoupage gel versus the clear coats. like I said, I think the gel holds it in place better while you're decoupaging. I think the work time is fabulous on it. Plus it's, like I said, waterproof. And then also I feel like I get less wrinkles with the decoupage gel. And I think that has something to do with the work time and how it sticks. It sticks really well, but then you still have an extended work time. And then I think the only other question was about the dowel rad, which honestly, I'm a painter. I don't know about the repairs as much, simple ones, but not, I don't use any dowels for anything. I'm going to find another way. But this thing was in bad shape. All right, guys, again, thanks for hanging out with me tonight. I'll be live Wednesday night on my Facebook page, New Creations by Stacy. And I'll have all of this. You can message me if you want this. I do have one Garden Whimsy transfer. I'll have that online. I'll have it online tomorrow. Hopefully, I tried to put it online tonight, but my website wasn't uploading the new stuff. And then I also do have the stencil. I carry the stamps, but I just don't put them online. I don't really use them. So it's just kind of some of the older stamps that I have available. All right, guys, take care. Have an awesome night. And thank you so much. See ya. Oh, I do want to tell you something from last week's live. We were pouring molds and we were talking about how you always end up with more than the other. You know what? I just realized I've been using this stuff for years and that always happens to me. The bottles aren't the same whenever you get them. Look next time. I think I had more white than yellow. I took a picture of it. Anyway, have a good night, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.